a strange
What should I
direction. So just come forward a little bit and straighten the steering wheel out until the car's all nice and straight. That's it. And then when you're ready, and you've got no cars coming behind you, like that weird one there,
clear,
you can come straight back.
Okay.
And then you show me what you can do.
Good control, isn't it?
Nice control. Very nice control.
I think I'm in.
Okay, you're in. Okay, you are in.
I can tell I'm in.
Yeah. How can you tell you're in?
Because I'm lined up with a BMW and he's parked.
He's perfectly.
Close to the
Right,
curb.
and you're next to him. Yeah.
That was excellent, wasn't it?
That was very, very good.
There's nothing you can do to improve that, is it?
There's very little I can do to improve that. But you are one car length behind, and I'm going to try and teach you to get in between this gap. Yeah, because you said you've only got a little gap to get in. So you can do this all right. We've got to take it with a slightly more accuracy to get us close to the BMW. Do you agree? Or not?
Where were you watching when I was doing that then?
Who?
Yeah, I'll give you 10 out of 10 for seeing that I put one steer onto the left, yeah?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised the amount of people that don't watch that.
No. Where was I watching? I was watching all around for for other vehicles coming, in case you put yourself in danger, because I know your observations were low. Right.
Is that not worth a mention?
It's worth a mention, yeah.
Sorry?
I don't know why I didn't mention it. I didn't want to know why, because all we're talking about is finish position. So when we came back, Tony...
It's got to be nearly one of the most important part of the...
No kidding. When you were coming back, Tony, where were you looking?
in the mirrors.
Yeah. And what were you looking for?
Anything.
Anything. But where were we looking up and down the road? Where were we
I was looking ahead.
Were we actually looking up and behind us to see if any cars were coming? Because I didn't see you do any pauses during the whole of that manoeuvre. And altogether it was about 29 seconds.
Oh, you have to
I was
pause,
counting.
yeah?
Pardon?
You have to
Well,
pause, yeah?
it's a great advantage to you if you do pause, because if you pause, you can have a stop and look round. It also gives you more thinking time.
Oh,
So
I got 20 years experience. Could I not have... could I not look around while I'm moving?
You are allowed to look around when you move, but it's better.
Didn't you say on the way here that my clutch control was
Your clutch
the
control,
best you've ever seen?
The clutch control was very good. I'm just suggesting that it's better if we're stationary when you're looking around.
Is that?
Yeah, because if you're looking around and you're moving, you're actually moving backwards and looking forwards, aren't you? Do you remember when you...
I bet if you were doing it, you wouldn't stop every time you looked around, would you?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
I do, because I know I'm going to make a mess of it. Yeah.
What was the bit I done wrong?
All right, what was the bit you did wrong?
Observations.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. The observations were low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have to stop do the observations, but I've got to do the observations, haven't I?
You've got to do them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was suggesting it would just be easier for you if you stopped. But you don't have to stop.
Shall I try again?
Yeah, try again, please. Right, Tony.
Yeah.
Before we start going backwards,
Yeah.
two things. We've got to have all-round observations before we go, and also I would like you to, if you can make sure your steering is all straight and the wheels underneath the car are straight, because at the moment the wheels are completely wonky.
Yeah, so you've already seen me do that once.
Yeah.
Just out of roll.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving the prompt there.
Before you did it. Yeah. Before you came up.
Yeah, what was the prompt you could have given?
I could have said, hold on to the steering wheel and don't turn it before you
Right.
come up. Don't turn the steering wheel before you get level with the car.
What was the prompt you should have given?
I'll try and do it.
Sorry?
I'll try and do it once we're out of the way. Okay. From here then. It's okay, Tony. Well, when you steer out towards the centre of the road...
Wait until I'm nearly there, yeah?
Pardon?
Wait until I'm nearly there.
Okay. Right, now that you're in the middle of the road and your steering is all straight, Now hold on to that steering wheel.
Where are you
now.
going to keep the steering, Tony?
Keep this. Where are you?
Where are you going to keep the steering?
Where are you?
Oh,
gonna
straight. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Ask him rather than tell him. Yeah, well done. Now in reverse.
Yeah.
Do you need to look round now, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all clear.
It's all clear. Okay. Well, when you all right, you're ready
Yeah, it's
to
all
go
clear.
back. Are we in reverse?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I go?
Yeah. Should go.
Yeah, it's all clear.
Make a start there.
It's all clear.
Have you looked all round?
Yeah, it's all clear.
Okay.
Are you looking or do you want me to look?
Now you've looked now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's all clear. I can see it's clear there.
Have you looked over your shoulder, Tony?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were looking.
Yeah.
Oh, it's clear.
Okay. Well, we're in you.
Yeah, my wife does the looking as well, so I never bother.
Okay, when you're ready, you can start going back and carrying out the manoeuvre. When you're ready.
Oh, come on, Edward.
Are we going to go back soon?
Yeah, I'm going back, yeah.
Yeah. Shall we go back a bit faster?
Sorry?
Shall we go back a
You
bit
go as
faster?
fast as you like, but that's not my problem, is it?
What is your problem?
If a child walks out behind me, I'm not going to see it, am I?
Because you're not looking backwards yet.
No.
All right. Tony, you need to look backwards for going backwards.
Do I? Why?
Yeah, you do, because if there's a child behind you, you wouldn't see it through.
Oh, why didn't you say that?
Because I hadn't been fully prompted. Nice clutch control.
I'll just keep looking that way, yeah?
Yeah, keep looking through the back window.
Just the back window.
Yeah, and the side windows.
Oh, this window.
And the side windows around the back here.
Oh.
Around the back.
Just them two.
All the blooming windows, really.
Oh, everywhere you mean?
Yeah, keep looking around you. Keep appraising.
Do I need to look over my shoulder?
Everywhere. Different times. Try not to hit this BMW, for
Okay.
God's sake. Try not to hit the BMW, because it's the only one that parks here every week. It won't be here next week if you hit it.
It's alright, it's a nice bloke.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Oh, I can see that airplane, look.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're in. Fantastic. Hold it there. Well done. And braking that. Fantastic. Well done. I feel I ought to shake your hand at this point. You've done such a good job
You
of it.
shake your head more like it. Did you not notice anything wrong with the observations on the first one?
Not really, no.
Well, you let your pupils reverse back like that?
No, I don't.
Hang on a minute.
No, I don't.
You don't let your pupils do it,
But you...
but you're quite willing to let me do it.
No, I just didn't notice you hadn't done them.
Well, how do you notice that your pupils have done them or haven't done them?
Because I get them to overdo it.
Sorry?
I get them to overdo it and it's easy for me to see.
But I wasn't doing any.
It felt like you had.
What do you mean it felt like I had?
I didn't see them and I thought you had. I don't know why I thought that. I get my students to do them all the way round before they go back. But I just don't know why, when it was with you, perhaps it's this teacher thing, you're still the teacher. But honestly, I thought you'd done them. I didn't think I had any concerns about you. But yeah, I get mine to do all 6.
It's role play, right?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
Take the word picture you're given
yeah,
and come into the role with me, yeah?
yeah. It's hard though. It's hard. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to do. I will get there. It's just I'm a bit slow getting there. I will get there because I can teach people to drive, so I'm sure I can teach myself how to role play.
A trainer,
Yeah.
and certainly an examiner,
Mm-hmm.
knows every fault in the book, yeah?
Yeah. Bound.
And they'll stick every fault in the book if they get away with it, yeah?
Yeah.
A pupil won't. A pupil will be doing their best to try and do their best, yeah?
Yeah, you'll be doing the best.
But they still need guidance, yeah? But we're going to be doing our best to do our worst,
Yeah.
especially if we feel that we're not being watched.
Being managed properly, yeah. Okay.
You know, I was sitting there with amazement on the first one there, because you were looking at me,
I was looking at you.
and I was going, and you weren't saying a word.
I don't know why.
I mean, the fact I've been driving for 20 years doesn't make it any safer for me to reverse back doing this and somebody's been driving for 5 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
All it takes is for little Johnny, who lives there, to cross that road to go and see his mate. Bang. Yeah? Because once they've gone past that door mirror,
You ain't gonna see him.
they're in the blind spot, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
time I'm going to hear is a clunk, isn't
I
it?
know every one of these lessons we're having is gonna sink in. It's gonna sink in. You're not
Come
gonna-
into the role play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
I am role playing the person that I've given you the word picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got to try and
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah. Because what we're trying to do is role play as accurate as possible to the level of the pupil that we've given you in the word picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite a lot
And-
of interpretation to do, and you,
And this is not
Okay.
made up role play. This is
No.
this is stuff that
it's a good example.
examiners and trainers who've been instructors have actually seen. They've had all these mistakes pulled on them, and sometimes it's gone wrong as well.
How do you mean go on?
Well, as an instructor myself, I've made mistakes
Okay.
by not watching my pupil. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm with you.
I've done it. Years ago when I started, I've allowed a pupil to do a turn in the road in not the best area, and I've had a lamp post in the middle of the rear bumper. We all make mistakes, but you've got to learn by those mistakes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't make those mistakes nowadays
Mm.
because experience helps you.
Because you've only 20 years of experience.
But the one thing I wouldn't want to do is hit a child. Yeah.
No. Not for the sake of parking your car.
Well, not for any sake.
You know what I mean? But in general, when my learners are doing this manoeuvre, they're concentrating on the technique so much. They're not really.
If you're teaching a manoeuvre for the first time,
Yeah.
I fully agree. You can agree to share responsibility,
Yeah.
right? And this is something you want to remember for when you pass,
Yeah.
is that to help a pupil out, if you've got a pupil who's struggling with coordination
Yeah.
of the pedals, you can actually agree, but it must be agreed. Look, Johnny, if you concentrate on the pedals and the steering, I will do the observations for you. Yeah? So that's been agreed. So therefore, you're sharing the responsibility. And then once they get the hang of the pedals, you can ask them then, would they now like to add in the responsibility for doing the observations as well, yeah? That's going to be something that's very important in your standards check, yeah?
Yeah, I see.
It's called client-centered learning. Has to be agreed. And at no time would you pass that responsibility back without first getting agreement with the pupil, yeah? Because the pupil needs to know what they're responsible for all the time, yeah?
Yeah.
So if you've agreed to take some of this responsibility away from them, and they've agreed that yes, they'd like you to help them by taking some of that responsibility away from them, well then before you pass it back to them, it's also got to be agreed.
Yeah.
But it can be a good way of teaching something like a reverse around the corner, or a turn in the road, or a bay park, or a parallel park, is that if they're struggling with coordination, well then,
Help them a bit.
help them a bit.
Yeah.
Would you like me to take responsibility for some of it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So there's a difference there, isn't there?
Yeah.
With a real learner. It's not going to work very well on part 3 for the simple reason because the format of part 3 the time doesn't allow it.
That was me saying to him, look, can I take responsibility? You'd really like me to take responsibility for your observation.
In the future, I'm sure they'll find a way around it, and they're trying very hard at the moment to actually come up with a solution that is suitable to all. Yeah, but there's an awful lot of considerations to be taken before these decisions are made.
You're talking about the difference between the part 3 and the standards check.
Yeah, they are trying to bring them together, and we are actually getting, especially on the phase 2 side, on the train side, we can get a bit of client-centered learning in there. We can get away with a bit of client-centered learning. But we can't push it too much on the phase 1. It's not that easy to push it on the phase 1 because you've only got a half an hour to teach mostly a new subject. And you have to cover the syllabus. It's because it's based on the core comps, where the standards check now is based on on a lot bigger marker sheets. There's loads of other different things that come into it. Yeah, the core comps are still in there.
What you mean, there's things like attitude and things like that in it.
Well, it's not only things like attitude. It's just how much, responsibility your pupils going to take. Can they handle that responsibility? Can you share that responsibility? It's actually trying to find out how your pupil learns best. Your pupil might have problems with approaching the junction too fast.
Yeah.
So you could ask them, okay, we've got a T-junction coming up at the end of the road. How much help would you like from me? And listen very carefully to the answer. They might say, I can have a full talk through. That's what they want. You give them a full talk through, yeah? Or they might say, just a prompt. And what would you like a prompt on? Oh, the speed. That's all they need. And then after you've done a few, you could say, would you like to do another one, and how much help would you like with this time? I'd like to try it on my own. Well, yeah, you can take some of the risk away from it and ask them just to talk you through what they're doing. Does that make sense?
Very much.
But obviously that doesn't fit in with the format of Part 3 at the moment. But it will do. It will do. It will work out. It just takes time and some changes in the law. We don't know what's going to happen. But the two will come together. And even if the Part 3 doesn't change, the people who have been... I've had quite a few who passed Part 3 in the last 6-7 months, 12 months, and they've all had a standards check and they haven't had a problem. Okay, it might mean coming back out and having a couple of lessons on how to handle a real learner, have a client-centered learning. But so be it. Most people who have qualified seem to take more to the standard check than people who've been qualified for a long time. Because they've still got that. They're still in that mode where they're willing to learn.
Yeah.
Where you can go out with somebody who's been qualified for a long time, and they just feel that they've just got themselves into this rhythm. I know what I'm doing.
Roll or rut.
I'm getting lots of people through the tests. I don't need it. But that's not the reason for the standards check. The reason for the standards check really is it's just trying to get the pupil, and this is what a lot of ADIs are missing, and I read it on forums and on Facebook and that. They're actually missing the idea behind the standards check, is that we're trying to get the learner who is going to be driving, because we know they're going to be driving on their own, we're trying to get them to take more responsibility than what they have done in the past. Because in the past it's just been pass the test and then don't do anything afterwards, yeah? But we want them to try and take that responsibility. Give it a few years and we know if it works. We'll be able to see by the accident rate. But before the standards check, nearly every learner who passed the driving test was having an accident within 6 months. And yes, I'm sure we've all had accidents in the early stages of driving through lack of experience. But some of them are fatal.
Yeah. Some lessons you can't learn from.
Well, there's attitude as well. It's attitude to having other people in the car, peer pressure.
Yeah. Attitude to other people who are outside.
And obviously they're paying the penalty for it now, because insurance companies, I've told plenty of people to drive who've gone out and bought a £700 little Corsa, and it's costing them £2,500 to get very basic third-party insurance on it. Okay, you've got companies supplying these black boxes now, which are quite a good idea. Which means the black box is very similar to a satellite dish, and they can monitor their driving to an extent. It tells them if they're breaking the speed limit or not, and if they are, then their insurance is going to go up. And there's other black boxes that monitor the hours they can drive, and they can't drive after a certain time of the evening unless it's to and from their place of work. It's very much an American idea, I think, really. But that's what the standards check is all around, is trying to get people to try and take responsibility. I know you don't see it on the roads at the moment, but as more instructors embrace it, it may well help to change things. And don't forget, we're all just really, trying different things to try and change people's attitudes. Because the attitudes on the roads here are probably some of the worst you come across. But when you look at the training they've been given, the attitude's terrible. You've only just got to drive around and just see the speeds that people are driving at, the places that you're getting overtaken in the 20-mile-an-hour zone where children are coming out of schools and that. But if we can just get across to the learner that the responsibility, once they get behind the wheel, is with them. They're responsible for the safety of everybody inside this vehicle and everybody outside the vehicle. Well then, okay, you're not going to get through to everybody. That's a known fact. But if you get through to one or two, it's a great big start, isn't it?
1 or 2%.
Sorry?
1 or 2%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can just, it makes it more enjoyable as well if they actually feel that they're involved in the learning, instead of being told, do this, do that, do this, do that. Some prefer to be told what to do, and you have to cope with that. Yeah. Some won't go along with being asked questions.
Yeah.
Just watch your body language. If you're asking them, how much help would you like with that junction ahead, and you find they're looking out the window and they're yawning, what's that telling you?
They're not interested, not motivated.
Yeah. Well, they're not interested in
The style, the learning style.
Or you've also got to remember, some people are embarrassed by being asked questions, and that can go back to a couple of years back to their school days, where they were laughed at in school for asking a stupid question. There's an awful lot of things that can lead to it.
So it's to do with their history. Yeah,
they can be, or just their personality.
Yeah. They come with baggage, or that's just the way they happen to be. So.
Yeah, if they don't like answering questions, you're not going to change your attitude. Then you're going to have to revert back to just actually telling them,
Yeah.
But at least you are given the lesson that is suitable for them.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to learn anything if they're looking out the window and they're feeling all tensed up. And sometimes it's not them being rude. It's just that they are worried about feeling stupid about giving the wrong answer.
Oh yeah.